The cry in the dust. The sun was dying behind the red hills of planet Serana. Hot wind blew across the dry sand, carrying dust and silence. A human named Eli walked slowly, his boots sinking into the soft ground. His ship had crashed 3 hours ago. No signal, no map, no help. He touched his small scanner. Still no signal, he whispered. Eli was tired, thirsty, and alone. The planet looked empty. Only rocks, dead trees, and broken metal. But then he heard something. Not wind, not an animal. It was a voice. He stopped, listened. The voice was crying. Eli followed the sound, walking over a ridge. He saw something strange below. 2 figures near a glowing rock. One was tall and thin, the other small and still. Both had blue skin. Aliens. The tall one was a woman, kneeling beside the small one. The child. She held the girl in her arms and rocked back and forth, crying. She won't wake up. Please, someone help. Eli didn't understand the words, but the pain in her voice was clear. He stepped forward, carefully. The alien mother looked up fast, her eyes full of fear. Then hope. I won't hurt you, Eli said gently, raising his hands. I'm human. I want to help. The mother looked at him, then at the child in her arms. She whispered something in her language and pointed to the girl. The girl's eyes were closed. Her skin glowed faintly, almost like stars. Her chest moved very slowly. Eli knelt beside them. She's alive, but barely, he said, checking her pulse. What happened to her? The mother said nothing, just looked at him with pleading eyes. She grabbed his hand and placed it on the girl's forehead. A shock ran through Eli's fingers. He felt something strange, like a dream. A memory. It wasn't his. He pulled back, confused. What was that? The mother shook her head. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Eli opened his small medkit. He tried scanning the girl with a handheld tool, but it blinked red. Can't read her vitals. It's like time around her is frozen. The wind picked up. Dust blew around them. Eli looked up at the sky. Storm clouds were forming. We need shelter, he said. We can't stay here. He pointed to a nearby cave he saw earlier. The mother looked at him, scared but trusting. She picked up her daughter gently. Eli helped support her as they walked together. Inside the cave, it was dark but cool, safe from the storm. Eli lit a small lantern. He laid out a blanket for the child and gave the mother some water from his pack. She took it slowly and bowed her head in thanks. What's your name? He asked. She touched her chest. Sora. Then she touched the girl. Leary. Eli smiled. Nice to meet you, Sora. And you, little Leary. Sora looked at Leary and whispered in her language. Her hands trembled. She looked at Eli again and made a small motion with her hands, like asking a question. You want me to help her wake up? He guessed. Sora nodded. Eli took a deep breath. I'll try, but I don't know how. He looked at the child. Her glow was fading now, slowly. He placed 2 fingers on her wrist. Soft pulse. Her skin was warm, but her body didn't respond. What are you hiding, Leary? He whispered. As he leaned closer, he noticed something strange. A symbol on her neck, glowing faintly. A circle with 3 small stars inside. Eli touched it. Suddenly, the air in the cave shifted. A flash of light. For 1 second, Eli saw a vision, a giant black shadow, a broken city, and the little girl running through it, screaming. Then silence. The light faded. Eli gasped and fell back. Sora rushed to him, holding his arm. I'm okay, he said, but I think she showed me something. He looked at the child. She's not just asleep, she's hiding. Sora didn't reply, but the look in her eyes said she already knew. Outside, the storm raged. Thunder shook the rocks. But inside the cave, something else was happening. Leary's fingers twitched. Eli didn't see it, But Sora did. Her eyes widened. She covered her mouth and whispered, "Leary." The sleeping star child. The storm outside grew louder. Wind howled through the dry rocks, and lightning painted the sky with white fire. Inside the small cave, Eli sat quietly beside the alien child, Leary. Her skin still glowed gently, like moonlight under water. Her body was still. No movement, no sound. But something had changed. Her fingers had moved. Sora, the alien mother, didn't sleep. She kept her eyes on her daughter, holding her small hand as if it might slip away. Her face was full of hope and fear. Eli checked his scanner again, hoping for something, anything, that could tell him what was happening inside Leary's body. But the screen stayed blank, just static. "Still no data," Eli muttered. "She's alive, but it's like her body is paused." He rubbed his forehead, thinking hard. Sora didn't understand his words, but she watched him closely. Eli looked up at her. "She's not in a coma," he said. "It's something else. I saw it when I touched that mark on her neck. A vision. She was scared, running from something." He looked at Sora. She chose to sleep. Sora nodded slowly. She understood that much. Eli stood up and walked around the cave. If she locked herself inside her own mind, maybe there's a way to reach her. Sora tilted her head, confused. Eli pointed to his own head. Her mind. "Maybe I can go in again." Sora's eyes widened in fear. Eli held up his hands. "I'll be careful." He sat down beside Leary again. He reached for her hand, but paused. The last time, he had seen shadows. Pain. What if it was dangerous? Still, he had to try. He took a deep breath and touched the glowing symbol on her neck again. A spark. And then darkness. His body fell still. He opened his eyes into light. But it wasn't the cave. It was a floating world. Soft, silver clouds beneath his feet, purple skies above. Strange trees hung upside down in the air, and glowing birds flew without wings. "What is this place?" Eli whispered. He heard laughter. Small, light, like bells. He turned and saw her. Leary. She stood far away, wearing a long white dress. Her blue hair flowed behind her like smoke. But something was wrong. She wasn't smiling. She was crying. Eli walked toward her slowly. "Leary?" She didn't look at him. "I'm here to help," he said. "Your mother is waiting." Finally, she turned. Her eyes were shining with fear. "I can't go back," she said. "Why not?" "The shadow is still there." Eli looked around. "What shadow?" She pointed behind him. He turned and saw it. A black shape, huge and quiet, stood at the edge of the dream. It had no face, no eyes, but it watched. Even in silence, Eli felt its hate. "What is that?" he asked. Leary's voice shook. "It came the night our sky broke. I felt it enter my mind. It burned everything. I ran here to hide." Eli stepped closer. "This place. You made it." Leary nodded. "Only I can come here, or someone who touches my heart." Eli blinked. "Why me?" Leary gave a small smile. "Because you care." A low sound rumbled through the dream. The shadow moved. Eli stood in front of Leary. "If we leave together, can it follow?" She looked down. "I don't know." "Then we run," he said. She hesitated. "Trust me," Eli said softly. "Your mother needs you." Leary nodded. She reached for his hand. The moment their fingers touched, light exploded around them. The dream shattered. Back in the cave, Eli's eyes opened fast. He sat up, gasping. Sora rushed to him, her hands on his shoulders. "I'm okay," he said. "I found her. I talked to her." Sora didn't understand the words, but she saw the truth in his face. Eli turned to Leary. She was moving now, slowly. Her fingers, her lips. Her eyes fluttered open. Sora froze. "Leary," she whispered. The child blinked. Mama. The word came out soft and weak, but real. Sora cried out and held her daughter tightly, sobbing into her hair. Eli felt tears in his own eyes. "She's back," he whispered. But then, his scanner beeped. Finally, it was reading something. Danger. Eli looked at the screen. Energy levels rising. Fast. Leary's body began to glow again. Brighter. Like a star being born. Eli jumped up. "Wait. This isn't normal. What's happening?" Sora pulled Leary close, confused. But Eli saw it first. The symbol on Leary's neck began spinning, like a machine activating. The scanner showed numbers climbing higher. 20%, 40%, 60%. "She's charging," Eli said. "But with what?" Leary opened her eyes. This time, they glowed golden. She stared straight at Eli and spoke one word: "Run." Before he could react, the entire cave shook. The forbidden awakening. The cave trembled. Rocks cracked from above. Dust fell like soft rain. Eli grabbed Sora and Leary, pulling them to the side as a large chunk of the ceiling broke and slammed to the ground where they had been sitting seconds ago. The girl, Leary, was glowing like a rising sun now. Her small body floated slightly above the ground, eyes golden, hair lifting, as if touched by invisible winds. Eli shouted, "What's happening to her?" Sora had no answer. She held her hands over her heart, eyes wide with fear, or maybe wonder. The glow from Leary's body spread across the cave walls. Symbols appeared in the air, glowing runes, shapes Eli didn't recognize. They spun slowly, humming with quiet energy. The scanner in Eli's hand blinked wildly. Readings flew across the screen, but none of them made sense. Energy type: unknown. Status: unstable source. Genetic core active warning. Planetary impact risk: high. Planetary what? Eli muttered. "What is she?" Then, without warning, Leary spoke, but not with her mouth. Her voice echoed inside Eli's head. It was calm, but deep, ancient, and powerful. "They tried to erase me. They failed." Eli stepped back. "Who's they?" Leary floated gently to the ground. Her glow faded a little, her eyes returning to their soft silver. Sora rushed to hold her. "Mama," Leary whispered, tired again. "I missed you." Sora wept, hugging her close. Eli knelt beside them. "You okay?" Leary nodded. "I'm not all awake yet." Eli looked around. "Well, we might not have time for a nap." He helped them up. "We need to leave this cave. It's not safe." As they stepped out, the storm had passed. The sky was dark, filled with strange stars, and the ground shimmered with a thin fog. But they were not alone. 5 machines stood waiting. Metallic, tall, insect-like. Watchers. They didn't move. Their eyes glowed blue, scanning silently. Sora gasped and pulled Leary behind her. "What are those?" Eli asked. Leary looked up. "They're called Seekers. They were made to find me." "Why?" "Because I am the key to something they want, or fear." The Watchers suddenly stepped forward. Eli stepped in front of Sora and Leary. "Don't move," he whispered. The lead machine raised one long arm. A beam of light shot out, bright and fast. Eli braced for pain. But the beam stopped just inches from Leary's face. Then something amazing happened. The light bent, not away, but into Leary, like she was absorbing it. Eli blinked. "She's eating it." Leary stood tall. Her glow returned, stronger than before. She raised her small hand. The Seekers paused. One by one, they bowed. Eli's jaw dropped. "They're afraid of you." Leary turned to him. "No, they remember." "Remember what?" "Who I was before I slept." Eli frowned. "You were just a child." Leary looked sad. "Not really. Not here." She touched her chest. I was chosen by the star mines before I was born. I carry memory, power, and pain from a line that stretches across galaxies. Sora whispered something in her language, soft and emotional. Ela guessed she already knew this, deep down. Leary looked at the Watchers. But now others will come. The Seekers were only the first, the ones who made them. They want control. And they know I'm awake. Eli asked, "What do they want from you?" Leary looked up at the sky. Me, or my silence. A low hum filled the air. Then, a sound like thunder. Eli looked up. A ship. Not human. Huge. Black. Triangular wings. Descending fast. "We need to run," Eli said. But Leary stood firm. "If we run now, they will keep hunting. Forever. So what do? We go to the Crystal Plains. There's something buried there. Something from the old war. It's the only place I can find the rest of my strength." Eli looked to Sora. "Will you be okay?" She nodded, though her hands trembled. Eli turned back to Leary. "Then lead the way." The ship landed in the distance, and a loud voice echoed from it in alien tongue. Leary didn't flinch. "They are not here to talk," she said. "They will send hunters next. And we're walking into that." "Yes." Eli sighed. "Great." Then he smiled. "But I guess I've already followed a glowing alien kid into a dream world. Why stop now?" Leary gave a small smile. And then they ran. Toward the Crystal Plains. Toward the unknown. Toward the secret power that Leary must awaken. Before it's too late. Inside her mind, the path to the Crystal Plains was long and strange. Eli, Sora, and Leary walked through silver grass that sang in the wind. Glowing plants bent gently as they passed. The sky above was purple, with two suns barely touching the horizon. The land felt peaceful, but wrong, like a quiet before something terrible. Eli checked the scanner again. "We're close," he said. 2 kilometers. Leary walked ahead, silent. Her eyes stared forward, but she seemed distant. Not just in her mind, like part of her wasn't in this world anymore. "She's slipping," Eli whispered to Sora. The alien mother touched her daughter's shoulder. "Leary?" The girl didn't respond. Instead, she whispered something soft, barely a breath. "They're calling me back." Sora looked at Eli in panic. What does she mean? But before Eli could speak, Leary stopped walking. Her body swayed, then collapsed. "Leary!" Sora screamed, catching her. Eli ran to them, heart racing. He touched her wrist, still warm, still a pulse. But her eyes were open. Silver. Glowing. Not blinking. "She's not unconscious," Eli said. "She's inside again." He looked at Sora. "She's gone back into her mind. Can you follow her?" Sora asked, voice shaking. Eli hesitated. The last time he entered her mind, he saw shadows. Danger. This time might be worse. But he couldn't leave her alone. "Watch my body," he said. He reached for the symbol on Leary's neck again, and touched it. Darkness. Then light. Eli stood in the dream again. But it had changed. No more floating trees. No singing clouds. This world was cracked and broken. Giant walls of shattered glass hung in the sky. Rivers ran upward. The ground was torn, filled with echoes and whispering shadows. "This place is broken," Eli said. He heard footsteps. He turned and saw Leary. But she looked older. Maybe 15 or 16 now. Taller. Stronger. Her dress was black, her hair glowing white. Her eyes were still silver, but filled with pain. "You came back," she said. "I promised I would." "This is my true memory," she said. "Before I fell asleep. Before they took everything." She raised her hand, and the world shifted. They stood in a city now. Not human. Tall towers, strange shapes. Blue lights in the sky. Alien people walked through markets and gardens. This was my home, Leary said, before the black ships came. Eli watched as the sky turned red. Ships appeared, huge, metal, dark. People screamed, ran. Buildings fell. But Leary didn't look afraid. She walked toward the center of the chaos. There, a group of tall aliens stood in a circle. Their eyes glowed red. These were the mind takers, Leary said. They don't kill. They erase. Eli whispered, they came for you. She nodded. They wanted the star memory. I carry all the knowledge of my line. The memory of the first light. Why? Because memory is power. If they take it, they can rewrite the galaxy. The scene froze. Leary turned to Eli. I couldn't fight them. I was too young. So I ran. Not with my legs, with my mind. I locked myself away. And you've been asleep since then, Eli said. Yes, until you came. Suddenly, the world cracked again. A black wave rushed toward them. The shadow. We have to go, Leary said. But the shadow stopped. And spoke. You woke too early, Star Child. Your flame is small. Eli grabbed Leary's hand. Don't listen to it. But Leary stared at the darkness. I'm not small. Not anymore. The ground shook. The shadow stepped forward. Its form was clearer now, a tall figure with long arms, made of smoke and teeth. Eli raised his fists. I'm not letting you touch her. But the shadow ignored him. The human will burn. You will forget again. No, Leary whispered. She stepped forward. Light exploded from her chest. Symbols spun in the air. You are nothing but a ghost, she said, and I remember your name now. The shadow stopped moving. Leary's voice became like thunder. You are Calor, the forgotten king. The one the stars locked away. And now you live only in fear. The shadow screamed, but it was a scream of pain. It vanished in smoke. The dream world calmed. Eli stared at Leary. You remembered all of that just now. She nodded. And I know where the final memory is. It's under the crystal plains. It will complete me. But are you ready? Leary looked at him. With you beside me. Yes. She smiled. And the dream faded. Eli woke up in the real world, gasping. Sora held him. What happened? He turned to Leary, still unconscious. She fought the shadow. She won. But she needs the last piece of herself. And it's under us. He looked at the glowing land ahead. The crystal plains. As he stood, the earth beneath them began to hum. Bright blue light burst from the ground. And the plains revealed what they had been hiding. An ancient door, the escape plan. The crystal plains had always been quiet. Now, they were awake. The ground beneath Eli's feet glowed with soft blue light, as if the planet itself had opened its eyes. Long cracks of pure crystal spread across the field like lightning frozen in time. And right in the center, the earth had opened. A door. Not a normal door. Huge, round, covered in carvings older than any language Eli knew. Sora held her daughter close. Leary still hadn't opened her eyes since the dream. Her body glowed, but faintly, as if she was only half here. Eli looked down at the door. It wasn't metal. It wasn't stone. It was something else. Alive somehow. It pulsed under his palm when he touched it. She said the last memory is here, Eli whispered. Beneath this. The door responded. It split open, slow and silent, and revealed a stairway made of light, going down into darkness. Eli stared. Well, that's not terrifying. He looked at Sora. Stay here. I'll go first. Sora nodded, her arms wrapped tightly around Leary. Eli stepped onto the first stair. Nothing happened. He kept walking, step by step, deeper. The light grew colder, but then he heard footsteps behind him. He turned. It was Sora, with Leary in her arms. I can't leave her alone, she said softly. Eli smiled. Okay, let's go together. The stairway led to a vast underground chamber. It looked like the inside of a crystal heart. Walls shimmered in blue, pink, and purple. Orbs floated in the air, glowing with memory. Shadows of old battles flickered inside them. Ships exploding, soldiers marching, stars dying. In the center of the room stood a small platform. On it, a chair, or maybe a throne. That's it, Eli whispered. That's where the last piece is. Sora placed Leary gently on the platform. As soon as her body touched it, everything changed. A wind rushed through the chamber, though there were no windows, no air. The floating orbs spun fast, circling the throne. Leary's body rose into the air, arms out, eyes still closed. Her glow returned, brighter than ever. It's working, Eli said. But then, the scanner in his hand screamed. Warning, multiple heat signals approaching. Status, hostile. He turned to the stairs. A soft blue shimmer appeared, and out of it came the hunters. Tall, armored, fast. Not machines this time. People. Alien soldiers wearing black armor and red eyes. They pointed long weapons at Eli and Sora. One stepped forward and spoke in galactic basic. Step away from the Star Child. Eli raised his hands. She's not a weapon. She is a beacon, the soldier said. And if she fully awakens, others will come. We must stop it. Eli took a deep breath. Then you'll have to stop me first. Before the soldiers could reply, a blast of light hit the chamber wall. Boom! Rocks flew. Dust filled the air. From the opening, a figure stepped out. Not human, not soldier. A giant, with glowing arms and eyes of gold. Sora gasped. Guardian. Eli blinked. What's a guardian? Protector of the throne. Sora said. They only appear when memory is under threat. The guardian raised its arm, and with a wave, it sent 2 soldiers flying backward. Go. Eli shouted to Sora. Take Leary and run if you can. Sora looked at him. Not without you. Eli turned to Leary, still floating. Her glow now reached the ceiling. Cracks spread across the crystal walls. The whole chamber began to shake. One of the soldiers got back up and fired. Eli dove forward, pushing Sora down just in time. The blast hit the throne instead. And something deep in the ground roared. A voice echoed inside the minds of everyone present. The Star Child remembers. Leary opened her eyes. Fully awake. No longer a girl. Something more. She floated to the floor gently. Her hair shimmered like silver fire. She walked past the soldiers. They raised their weapons, but couldn't move. Frozen in place. She touched each of their chests and whispered one word. Sleep. The soldiers dropped silently. Not dead. Just gone. Somewhere far in the mind. Eli stared, wide-eyed. Leary, what are you now? She turned to him, complete. She walked to her mother and hugged her tightly. Thank you for waiting, she said. Then she looked at Eli, and thank you for finding me. Eli smiled. You did most of the work. Suddenly, a new sound, a deep vibration. Leary's eyes narrowed. More are coming. We need to leave now, Sora said. No, Leary said. We need to go up. Up? Eli asked. She looked toward the ceiling, then raised her hand, and the chamber exploded into light. The 3 of them floated upward, through the rock, through the ground, until they stood once more on the crystal plains, bathed in starlight. Above them, the sky opened. A ship descended, but not the black kind. This one was pure white, beautiful, shaped like a winged flower. Who's that? Eli asked. Leary smiled. Allies. They heard me. The door opened. A group of aliens stepped out, peaceful, glowing, calm. They knelt before Leary. We have waited for the awakening, their leader said. The time has come. Eli looked at Leary. So what happens now? She took his hand. Now we run. But not away. Toward something. Eli grinned. Toward what? She smiled. Freedom. And the door of the ship opened wide. Her power, his heart. The white ship rose silently into the night sky, leaving the crystal plains behind. Eli sat beside Leary, watching her as the stars reflected in her silver eyes. She didn't speak much. She barely blinked. Her body was calm, but something inside her had changed. Her glow was no longer flickering. It was steady, strong, and a little frightening. She had fully awakened, and yet she still looked like a child. Eli leaned back and exhaled. You doing okay? Leary turned slowly. I feel heavy. Your powers. My memories. She looked at her hands. I remember entire lifetimes. Voices from 1,000 years ago. Every face, every song, every war. They all live inside me now. Eli nodded. Must be a lot to carry. She tilted her head. How do humans carry pain? Not very well. Eli smiled. But we try. Leary stared at him for a moment. How do you carry hope? Same way. They both smiled. Behind them, Sora slept peacefully, curled in a seat, one arm still reaching toward her daughter, even in sleep. The bond between mother and child had survived everything. Dreams, danger, even death itself. A soft tone rang through the ship. The pilot appeared, an alien being with soft wings and glowing blue skin. We are approaching the Sky Temple, she said. Eli stood and looked through the glass. The planet below them was smaller now. Ahead, floating in space, was a massive structure, like a flower blooming in zero gravity. Each petal was a platform, spinning slowly around a bright core. What is that? Eli asked. A memory stabilizer, the pilot explained. For beings who carry ancient minds, the temple helps balance them. Eli turned to Leary. Do you need that? Leary nodded. Yes, if I don't learn to balance the memories, they will consume me. Then let's do this. The ship landed softly on one of the petals. A path of floating stones led them to a glowing gate. As they stepped through, they entered a space unlike any Eli had ever seen. No walls, no ceiling, just stars and floating symbols in the air. The space felt both vast and intimate, like standing inside someone's heart. A being stood waiting, tall, golden, with a face like light. Star Child, it said, bowing. You have returned. Leary bowed slightly. I need to learn control. The being nodded, then entered the pool of mirrors. Eli followed as Leary stepped forward toward a shimmering surface in the middle of the platform. It looked like water, but it floated in the air. As Leary touched it, it pulled her inside. Eli gasped. Wait, she's gone. The golden being turned to him. She is inside herself now. This is something she must face alone. Eli clenched his fists. But what if she's not strong enough? Then she will fade. Eli stepped back, heart pounding. Fade. No, not after all this. He looked at Sora, who was silent, trusting. He looked at the pool. And then, without thinking, he jumped in after her. Eli opened his eyes inside darkness. Then stars appeared. He floated in a sky filled with 1,000,000 versions of Leary, each one different. Some crying, some laughing, some screaming. He called out, Leary. His voice echoed. Then a shape floated toward him. Leary. But she was young again. And scared. I'm lost, she said. I found you once, Eli said. I'll do it again. She shook her head. They're pulling me apart. Every memory wants to become me. But I don't know who I really am. Eli reached for her hand. You're the girl who held her mother's hand in the desert. You're the voice that cried, she won't wake up. You're the one who whispered run even when you were afraid. Her silver eyes filled with tears. But what if I'm also a weapon? Eli smiled. Then you'll be the kind of weapon that saves people, not destroys them. She looked down. I'm afraid of losing myself. Then hold on to me, he said gently. Why do you care so much? She whispered. Because, Eli said, his voice soft, you changed me. I was just a crash survivor, lost, angry, alone. But helping you gave me something to believe in. He placed her hand on his chest. You helped me remember who I am. Now let me help you. A soft light flowed from his chest into her fingers. Her form began to glow, not wild and burning, but gentle and warm. The other versions of her faded. All the noise quieted, and one voice remained. Hers. I'm leery, she said, and I'm ready. They woke together, rising from the pool of mirrors. Sora ran to them, tears in her eyes. Leery stood taller now, her glow calm, her voice steady. I have all my memories now, she said, but I also have my own voice. Eli smiled. How do you feel? Like the stars are no longer too loud. The golden being nodded. You are balanced now, Star Child. But just as peace returned to their faces, the sky outside the temple turned red. Sirens blared. A voice shouted across the temple walls. The Black Empire has arrived. Eli turned to Leery. You ready for this? Leery looked at him, her hand gently reaching for his. With you, she said, I'm always ready. The human who chose love. The sky temple shook. Red lights flashed across the stars. Ships from the Black Empire, huge, dark, and burning, rained down like a swarm of locusts. The temple's petals closed in slow defense, but everyone inside knew the truth. They weren't ready for this. Eli, Leery, and Sora stood at the temple's highest point, staring into the sky as the enemy descended. The peaceful beings of the temple hurried below, hiding sacred knowledge and evacuating young ones. The guardian stood tall once again, protecting the core, but even he seemed nervous. How many ships? Eli asked, watching the sky fill with shadows. The golden being stepped forward, more than ever before. They know the Star Child has awakened. They will try to end her before she takes her rightful place. Leery stepped ahead. No fear, no glow, just calm. We won't let them, she said. Eli looked at her. Leery, you're powerful now, but you don't have to do this alone. She turned, smiling softly. I never was alone, Eli. Not since the desert. He stepped beside her. So what's the plan? I go up, she said. I speak to them. I show them what I've become. Maybe some will remember who I was, who I am now. And if they don't, then you run. Eli frowned. Not happening. Leery blinked, surprised. But you told me to run once, he said. I didn't. I stayed. I chose to help you, and I'll keep choosing you, even now. She was silent for a moment, then reached for his hand. You're strange, human. He grinned. Thank you. The battle started above. Black Empire fighters broke through the first line of temple shields. Streaks of fire danced across the sky. One beam struck a pedal platform and shattered it into stars. The temple guardians began to rise, their golden forms meeting the black ships in mid-space. Inside, Leery stood before the Star Core, the source of her line's memory. If I merge with it, she said, my voice will reach every mind in the Empire. They will see me, feel me, but it might break me. Eli stared at her. Then don't do it. If I don't, they'll destroy this place and everyone inside. We'll fight. She looked at him. This is how I fight. She turned to the Star Core and stepped inside. The world exploded with light. Not outside, but within. The Star Core accepted her. Her body floated and her spirit spread. Across the sky. Across the Empire fleet. Across the hearts of everyone watching. They all felt it. Not power, not fear, but love. Leary didn't show them war. She showed them memories of a child playing in the sand, of a mother's soft song under alien moons, of a human holding her hand when she was broken. And slowly, one by one, the black ships stopped firing. Some turned back, some drifted in silence, and some kneeled in space. Eli ran to the viewing window. "It's working." Sora stood beside him, tears in her eyes. "My daughter," she whispered. "My star child." Then, suddenly, a blast. A single black ship, hidden until now, fired a forbidden beam at the temple's core. Too fast. Too strong. Eli saw it coming. He had seconds, and no time to think. Only time to choose. He ran, straight into the beam's path, and pushed Leary's floating body away. The blast struck him square in the chest. For a moment, everything was silent. Leary fell to the ground, unharmed. But Eli lay still. Sora screamed. Guardians rushed in. Leary crawled to him, eyes wide, full of horror. "No, no." She touched his face. "Eli, you said you wouldn't leave." He didn't respond. "You gave me your hope," she whispered. "Now, take mine." She placed her glowing hands over his chest and let her light pour into him. A second passed. Then two. Then he coughed. Eli blinked. Did I just die?" Leary smiled through her tears. "Almost." He sat up slowly. "You brought me back." "No," she said, brushing his hair from his face. "You held on." He smiled weakly. "Told you. I always choose you." Days passed. The Black Empire left in silence. No more war. No more threats. Leary's message had reached their leaders, and something inside them changed. Maybe forever. The temple opened its gates to the galaxy. People from all worlds came to learn, to share, to remember. And Leary became a symbol, not of power, but of peace. She chose to stay on the temple, helping others find their voice. Not as a queen, not as a god, but as a girl who once hid inside her own mind, and who came back with love. On a quiet morning, Eli stood near the same glowing pool of mirrors where he had once saved her. Leary walked up behind him. "Thinking again?" she asked. "Always." "About what?" "About how a crash, a cry, and a glowing child changed everything." She chuckled. "I wasn't just glowing. I was snoring too." He laughed. "True." She looked at him. "You could leave, you know. Go back to Earth. Maybe someday. Why not now?" He turned to her. "Because I choose this," he said. "Every time. You. This place. Our story." She reached for his hand. Their fingers locked. And under the stars, glowing above the temple of memory, two hearts beat as one. Not human. Not alien. Just love.